Gentlemen, welcome to Letters from Dad Leadership Training, Part 3, the Kickoff event. A great element of Letters from Dad is coming to this fun event and letting the guys have a good time and hear the story of Letters from Dad. Now, why do we do a kickoff? Monty, we've had this question asked many times. You know, the guy said, well, why don't we can just put out a sign-up sheet and you let the guys sign up. You know, we've played some of the clips and they know some about it and we'll just let them sign up and come to it. You know, and well, we're going to ask them to spend at least $59, but we're not going to tell them what it's about. You know? Yes. Well, that is a recipe not for success, but for failure. All right, there's a purpose to the kickoff event because big things happen with big events. All right, and the kickoff gives you an opportunity to have a venue to share the vision and to show the value. All right, you need a place where you can cast the vision of Letters from Dad, where the guys can come, they can have some great food, they can have some fun, and you can tell them the story and then help them to understand what the value is in Letters from Dad and how it can change their lives, the lives of their families, and the lives of their church and community. That's right. So that's the purpose of the kickoff. All right, so we want to preface everything we do in this kickoff with that in mind. All right. Now, one of the things about the kickoff event is it gives you a chance to be creative. All right, it's about atmosphere, making it different, making it creative and exciting. Now, there's all sorts of themes you can have. A Western theme, you know, that's kind of required here in Texas. State law. If you're going to have an event, it's got to be about cowboys and cattle and saddles and that sort of thing. But there's all sorts of events you can have all across the country. And I'm going to, here with me today, I'm Elton Rocker, Operations Manager for Letters from Dad. And with me here today is Monty Strother, National Director. Many of you have spoken with Monty at one time or another already. And Monty, what are some of the other themes that we've heard of in the thousands of churches that have launched Letters from Dad?
Oh gosh, you know, there's so many. Many of them have taken advantage of during the fall season to take on football themes. Others in the spring have taken on other sporting themes. Sometimes just hobbies. Guys, they'll decorate tables, they'll sponsor this table or that, and they'll decorate it to the nines with their favorite hobby, whether it be NASCAR, football, fishing, hunting, whatever it is. But here's the key, guys. When you create an atmosphere and guys come in that have never been involved, they get very surprised that a men's ministry is actually doing something that's fun. So don't miss out on that kind of an opportunity. And you'll be surprised how much the ladies will chime in to help decorate. So
that's right.
Keep
that's
that in
right.
mind.
So there's all sorts of things you can do. I've heard of a pastor bringing a duck blind into a sanctuary to promote Letters from Dad. Others have brought a mechanical bull in to the church basement and used it for the guys to injure themselves, I guess, during Letters from Dad events. So there's all sorts of things you can do. Have fun, be creative. All right, and another thing you can do is bring in some music. All right, it's good to have perhaps a musical group to do some worship music before you actually begin and get into the meal. Then once you're eating, they can be playing things in the background. So it's nice to have that if they're available. It's important to let the musicians know that they're part of the show, not the show. Sometimes musicians get the impression that they are the show, and it's not all about them. It's about Letters from Dad and helping the guys understand that. So just let the musicians understand that, if you would. All right, the facilitator, you're going to have somebody that is kind of walking the guys through, keeping things moving, that MC that keeps the flow going to get to the point. All right, now you can have Greg Vaughn himself, founder and president of Letters from Dad and author of the book by the same title. Greg travels all over the country, has been in hundreds of churches from Alaska to Florida and all the places in between, and he would be glad to come to your event and just do your kickoff event for you. All right, and but you don't have to have him. All right, but if you are interested, you can let us know. We'll let you know if he's available. Give you the details on how to make that happen. Just give us a call. We'll put up the numbers and everything at the end of this training session today. But if you're interested in having Greg Vaughn come and do your kickoff event, we'll give you the details on how we can make that happen for you. But you don't have to have them. All you have to have is someone that is willing to kind of walk it through. Someone who loves Letters from Dad. They don't have to be a Bible scholar. All right, they don't have to, be a great public speaker. They just need to be someone that loves the Lord, understands Letters from Dad, and is willing to get up front and just keep things moving. All right, because we provide all the tools to help them do that, so that it isn't a very difficult event for them. We want them to have fun too. All right, turn to page 26 in your training manual, if you would. Again, if you have your training manual there, that's great. If you don't, that's all right too. You can just have a notepad and be taking all those things down and look at your training manual later. All right, on page 26, you'll see the actual kickoff outline. All right, these are the schedule of events that you'll be going through at your kickoff event. Now, everything that we're talking about right here on the top of this page, you'll read. Look in your leadership pack for promotion and kickoff. You're going to find the DVD entitled Kickoff Presentation. Everything that you will need for your kickoff event is on that kickoff presentation DVD. You won't need any other DVDs. You won't need any other material. That's it. Okay, so it's all on there for you. All right, and you'll want to go through that a couple of times so you familiarize yourself with it and how it works. And it's pretty slick. It should work very well for you. Step one, of course, is food and fellowship. Pray, eat, play some music, have some fun. Then you'll have a giveaway contest. All right, we suggest this one here. You might have another one that you'll use, but this one kind of gets them thinking about family and children and all that sort of thing. So it's a great contest, and Greg has used it all over the country and had great success with it. So there's a giveaway contest there. Step number 3 is where we're going to be talking about the first main tenet of Letters from Dad. There's 2 main tenets. One of them is the power of the written word. All right, and we illustrate that through a clip that we'll be showing you here in just a moment. And the other is the power of the spoken blessing, which there is another clip that you'll also be showing that we're going to show you during this training segment also. But the power of the written word is the first one. And we even give you a script in there on what to say. Now that's pretty slick, Monty. You don't even have to really think about what you're going to say there. We've scripted it out for you. With the first time I saw this outline, I said, "Wow, we even give them words to say in between." So we want to make it easy for you. We don't want to put you on the spot. We want you to be able to be there and enjoy the event with the rest of the guys. And we've just given you this complete outline and that kickoff presentation DVD to help you get through it. All right, so after the Chaplain Chanup clip concludes, you'll be asking a few questions. But before we go into what questions you're going to ask, we're going to actually show you that clip. Now, this is a clip that you won't want to use during your promotion phase. You'll want to use it and save it for your kickoff event. And you don't have to worry about grabbing it off another DVD. It's right in your kickoff presentation DVD. You just hit the button and it'll automatically play for you. And we're going to let you play that right now.
They say that you don't miss what you never had. Well, I never had a father, and I'll tell you right now, I knew that I did not have a father, and I missed him very much. Dad was career Army Air Corps, and he was a pilot, and his plane was the B-17, and that's the plane that he was flying the day that his plane was lost, somewhere between Japan and the Philippines. I was 4 months old when my dad died. He never even saw me. And so all my love went to my mom, who had 3 other children besides me. So I was the 4th of 4 boys. And I probably grew up a little quicker than I should have under the circumstances because I didn't have a father. And what an impact that made on me my whole life. It made an impact on my mom too. She never remarried and she never got over Dad's death. And it was a very trying time for her. And she didn't do well with that. And she turned to drugs and alcohol. And when I was 14 years old, she died of a drug overdose. And at 14, my life just went to the pits. For the next 10 years, I did things I'm not very proud of today. But at the age of 24, I heard the gospel. I heard that someone loved me, cared for me, and would make me a new person. And so it was the Heavenly Father that I found out that I now had, and it was just awesome. I had a new life. I became an Army chaplain at the age of 30, and 10 years later, my brother gave me a call. This was the same brother who commissioned me as a second lieutenant years before. He said, "Greg, I went through the attic and found some old letters that Dad had written Mom. And as I looked through them, I noticed that even though it was written to Mom, the letter inside was to you." And he told me, "Greg, you need to come read this letter. You need to take a long walk and spend some time, because it's the most powerful letter you will ever read." And he was right. I read the letter. It was very personal. It was from a father who didn't even know I was born at the time, because my birth was impending, and he wanted to make sure that he wrote me and welcomed me to the Shanup family. And it was the most precious letter. 8 pages, chock full of love and affirmation for me. And what I realized was, it was his blessing to me. He was 40 when he wrote it. I was 40 when I read it. And it made my life complete because I had my Father's blessing. In that letter, I have more love and acceptance from a father that I had never seen than a lot of people who have from their earthly fathers today that they see every day. That letter is the single most powerful thing I possess.
Okay, we're back. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. That Chaplain Shanup just gives a great testimony there.
Great one.
That letter
Wow.
that was lost for 40 years, and God in His providence put that letter back in His hands, and what meaning it had for him. So in step number 4, after you've shown that clip, then you're going to be asking a few questions, because this clip shows that the Letters from Dad process is unique, and it's also very valuable. All right? So you're going to ask them, do any of you possess a letter of love and blessing and affirmation? All right? And, happy birthdays and P.S. I love yous and things like that don't really count. And then you'll go down and look, and you ask, does anybody out there have a letter? So they raise their hand if they do, and then you use scenario number 1. All right? If no one stands up, if no one's had that sort of letter, then you use scenario number 2. All right? And so it's all scripted out there for you. You just kind of walk through that. Then after you've been through that process, then you go to step number 5, the power of the spoken blessing. All right, the second main tenet of Letters from Dad. And you'll just get that, you'll walk through that first script, scenario 1 or 2, depending on what happens, and then you'll go to step 5, and and the slides will pop up and kind of show you what's going to be happening. All right, and you're saying we're going to illustrate the second main tenet of Letters from Dad, and that's the power of the spoken blessing. And then you go right into what we call the Holly clip. All right, and we're gonna play that for you right now. Let you see that so that you'll have a good idea of what it looks like, so you'll be prepared.
Yeah, and this is powerful, guys.
Kind of at this point in our groups, in our small groups, I will usually choose one of the guys, and I will like to demonstrate for you what that really looks like. And I asked my oldest daughter, my precious Holly, to be here with me tonight. So I would like for you to welcome my precious oldest daughter, Holly. Come up here, sweetheart. Yep. This is my precious Holly. She's my firstborn. I'll never forget the time that we found out we were pregnant, and how I tricked your mom. How she kept calling me saying, "Have you heard from the doctor?" And I said, "No, no, no." And I had heard from the doctor. And I went out and bought a rocking cradle, and I put a baby doll in it and roses, and she came home and they were there. And I just remember thinking, I wonder what she'll be like. I wonder what he'll be like. And I look at you and I see you, and you are everything I ever dreamed of in having a daughter. When I declared the words up there, I was thinking of you. You are my treasure, and you are the precious one of my life. You're the one I love, and I would do anything for. When I look at you, my sweet Holly, I see this picture. And I see those red highlights in your hair. And I see how unique God made you. Because you're a fiery little thing. God made you with fire in your bones. But He made Peter with fire in his bones too. And never, ever question how God made you. Don't ever do that. The thing I want to say to you is, as I look at your name, I did some boning up, some studying on your name. Holly Ann Vaughn. Isn't that a pretty name? Named after her grandmother. And I want to go backwards with it. The name Vaughn means little man. Is that some mistake? Good thing I'm not 6'6". And God has called you His little woman. 4'10" powerhouse Holly. And a half. And a half. 4'10" and a half powerhouse. And you are the little person. You are the little woman. Your middle name is Ann. Ann means the gracious one. And you are gracious. You are gracious and kind. I love to see you with other people, the way you work. You just treat people. Gracious, kind, and loving. And your first name, Holly. Holly means pure and holy one. So you are the pure and holy one, the gracious little person. And I picture for you a special future where God will continue to make you like your name. And He has something so dynamic that He's going to do in your life. And I don't know what it is. All I can know is it's going to be exciting. And you need to know one thing. I am there for you. I am so committed to you. If you need me in the middle of the night, you know I'm there. Whatever it is, I am there. Till God takes me home, I am yours, you are mine, and I am your servant. So, Father, take care of my little Holly. Make her into the woman that you want her to be. Bless her, dear Jesus. Keep her strong. Make her to be like you. Make her to be gracious and kind and loving and pure and holy. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you, sweetie.
Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that. It was powerful, and Greg's daughter Holly did not know what was happening when she went up on that stage. But it is a powerful clip, and make sure again that you save that for the kickoff event and don't use it as part of your promotion. All right, and as you saw in there, Greg illustrated the four parts of the biblical blessing: physical touch, words of high praise and value, picturing a special future, and active commitment. All right, and so Greg really brought those out in there so that we understand it, so that as men we can wrap our head around what that means and the power that it can have. All right, then after that's played, you'll go right into step number 6 into Greg Vaughn's kickoff presentation, where Greg will actually tell the guys everything, won't he, Monty?
He just takes it from start to finish. That way, nobody has to worry about trying to remember the story and tell details. It's coming from the horse's mouth itself.
That's right. And Greg will go through the entire Letters from Dad story, help them to understand why Letters from Dad has been so powerful all across the country. He'll explain to them all the materials and even get right down to the end on how to fill out the registration form. So he does everything in there.
But you know, most importantly though, Alton, he challenges these guys to go on the adventure.
That's right.
It's not you there at the church challenging the guys, it's him.
That's right.
So it's important.
Yeah, so we provide that for you Greg does the Letters from Dad presentation, brings the guys all the way down to the end, even how to fill out the registration form. So all that you have to do at the end is just close it up, collect the forms, pray, and send the guys out with God's blessing. All right. Now again, the kickoff clips that you'll be using that are already on that kickoff presentation DVD are the Chaplain Chanup clip, Lost a Letter for 40 Years, illustrate the power of the written word. Then the Holly clip that illustrates the power of the spoken blessing. And then another one that we hadn't mentioned before, but that's also in there as a testimony from the Foxes, and answers the question, is it worth it? A very powerful testimony in there too. Those are the ones that are in the kickoff. So again, don't use those during your promotion phase. And everything is on that kickoff presentation DVD that's on the screen. Make sure that stays in that leadership pack and stays safe, because you're going to need that. And it has everything you need. You won't need anything else during your kickoff event except for that DVD right there. All right, the purpose of the kickoff again is to share the vision and show the value. It's very important that we emphasize that's the key to Letters from Dad, is having this kickoff event where you can put the guys in a position to tell them the story and help them to understand what they're going to be doing and what they're signing up for. Okay, so you've promoted well, you've planned, you've got the guys to the kickoff, you've told them the story, and they said, yes, we want to get on board. What do I get? Okay, all right, what do you get? Well, you get the Letters from Dad student kit. There's a picture of it right there, Monty, and all the pieces of it. As a matter of fact, the leather binder that we have now is even a little nicer than the one that we show there on the screen. The one we have now is gold embossed. It's very nice. It's a man's tool.
Yeah.
All right, and so we're going to quickly tell you about each piece of that and what the guys get. And of course, all of them get the book by Greg. And also co-authored with him by Fred Holmes, a lifetime friend of his. There's a picture that was taken just a few years ago of Greg and his friend Fred. And Monty, we get guys telling us about this book, and what do they tell us?
Well, it's kind of funny. I've been to a lot of men's conferences where Greg has been a keynote speaker, and these guys have bought the book on a Friday night and come back in and said, I can't believe it. I read halfway through this book in one night.
That's right.
But it's been such an inspirational book to them, because they relate to it so well, and it speaks to their heart. And of course, guys, that's what's neat about having the book, is it keeps continually inspiring these men all the way through Letters from Dad.
That's right, and it reads like an adventure story.
It does. It really does.
It's a book written by men for men. All right, which means that it has large print, short chapters, pictures,
lots of pictures,
and white space. All right, so most men can read through it in just 2 sittings.
Yeah.
All right, and but it's a great book, and all the guys will get a copy of the Letters from Dad book. It'll be an inspiration for them. All right, all the guys will also receive the Lost Art of Letter Writing DVD, and that features Dr. Reg Grant, one of the most prolific creative writing professors in the country. 5 brief sessions on just how to be a better communicator as a dad and as a husband. And he's very entertaining, and it'll be a lot of fun for the guys to listen to Dr. Reg Grant.
Very cool resource, guys.
Right. Now, another optional part of the student kit is the stationery and envelopes. And there's a picture of it right there. It's 50 sheets of watermarked stationery, 25 matching envelopes, a master grid with lines on it so that you can put it behind your stationery. Why? So that you can write in a straight line, especially for guys like Monty and I. We're left-handed, and we want to kind of write downhill or sideways or things like that. So having that master grid to put behind your stationery has been very helpful.
Very helpful.
Why do we provide that? Well, we provide it because most guys' idea of stationery is a big chief tablet or a yellow legal pad or something like that. And we want these special letters, these precious letters of love and affirmation and blessing to look important, all right, and look like they're something of value. So we provide that stationery and envelopes. You can get it yourself, but you can have the official letters from Dad stationery and envelopes, is, if you wish, as part of one of the package options. All right. All of the guys will also receive the curriculum. The leather binder is, again, optional. All right, you can have that if you wish. But the curriculum, everyone, of course, receives that. And we'll walk through this. Now, guys, you don't have to remember all of this, all right, because Greg does a 10-minute introduction clip in session 1 that explains to the guys what they're getting in their curriculum. So you don't have to do this, but we'll run through it quickly with you so you get an idea of all what's in there. One, you have a section for writing down all the names and phone numbers and whatever for all the people in your legacy group. And then second session there in the tan has all your assignments, that sort of thing, things you need to complete in between sessions 1 through 4. And then Monty, there in the green section is something a little different with Letters from Dad. Tell them about that.
Absolutely. Guys, this is so cool. There are 25 sample letters in here in all 5 categories. So this is going to give guys a model to help build their letters. And of course, one of the interesting things that we always encourage in Letters from Dad is plagiarism. So you can borrow, trust me guys, I had to, so take advantage of those. They're a great resource for you.
That's right. So there's 25 sample letters in there. There's an invitation list, because as you're going through Letters from Dad, you're going to be thinking of other guys that you know would really love to get involved with Letters from Dad. And you're going to, later on during the sessions, you're going to give them an opportunity. You're going to invite them in to be a part of the next round of Letters from Dad. All right, this red section here is where you'll have the fill-in-the-blank notes that go with the Greg Vaughn teaching sessions, and then also the Dr. Reg Grant sessions from the Lost Art of Letter Writing. And then Monty, in this brown tab here, Max Lucado devotions. Tell the guys a little bit about those.
Boy, these are great. Guys, we actually use that here in our office every single day. These are from Max Lucado's book, Grace for the Moment. And it's just a very short devotional. But here's what's exciting about incorporating these in Letters from Dad. We're giving guys only one a week for 16 weeks, not one a day, because we know how guys are about devotionals every day. But we went to the trouble of having a letter of blessing written for each one of those devotionals. Now, why is that important? Well, that not only tees you up for 16 more letters, but it also gives guys a real insight into how to extrapolate a blessing letter from any devotional they do from now on. So another great tool and asset into the quiver for the guys with Letters from Dad.
That's right. Each devotion is designed to be a springboard into another type of letter. All right. Now, guys, Letters from Dad, as you've been hearing us, is much more than just those 4 main letters that they're writing.
That's right.
We're setting guys up to learn how to have a lifestyle of blessing in everything that they do, and we're giving them the opportunity here in these devotions as springboards to write another 16 other letters.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Then you have a notes section, because a lot of times you're going to be taking notes. And then there's letters to the wife, children, first child, second child, third child. That section is to store copies of the letters that you're giving to your kids. Now, Greg had to put addendums in there because he has 7 children. All right. All right. Now, why do you do that? Well, one, because things get lost. All right, things happen. And so you'll want a copy of those letters that you have written to your family in your folder. And that also helps to remind you, what did I write to them the last time, you know? And so you don't write the same thing twice.
That's right.
All right, so you make a copy of it, put it in the plastic folders that we provide in between the sections of your curriculum there, so that you'll have a copy of it. All right, so that's basically what's in the curriculum. Don't worry about having to explain it to the guys. Greg does that during his presentation. And there'll be an introduction before the first session that you'll have. Okay, that's what the guys are going to get. You've brought them to the kickoff event. You've told them what they're going to get. Now you sign them up. All right, there's some guys there filling out their registration forms. I've got a sample of one right here on the screen before you. I'm going to walk through it very quickly, all right, so that you can understand what's on this registration form. It's not just any any ordinary registration form. There's lots of tools in there to help you. All right, first there's, we're going to have the guy's name. All right, email is important because that's what we use to email them their tracking information and all of that. So it's important to have that. A mailing address because we may need to mail them an invoice. Shipping address if it's different because we do ship UPS, so we do need to have a physical street address for your guys. A couple of phone numbers. We want to be able to contact you, and because you may have indicated that you want us to contact you for a payment method, or we are not able to read your writing, so we need to call you, and that happens,
It happens.
more frequently than what we'd like. But please put a couple of phone numbers on there so we can get a hold of you. All right, the church where you attend, letters from Dad, and then the church. If you're not going to that same church, write that down there also, because we find that anywhere from 10 to 20% of the guys that attend your Letters from Dad event are not from your church. They're friends, neighbors, co-workers, or relatives of the guys in your church. So you want to know where they're coming from, or if they don't belong to a church at all. So that's for you guys, okay? All right. And then there's two very important sections here. One is I need financial help, and the other is I want to help out financially. All right, guys, it's our goal in Letters from Dad that finances never ever be an obstacle for a man attending the Letters from Dad sessions. All right, and we do everything in our power to help that happen. And as we've mentioned before, we've worked with thousands of churches, and we have found that God works miracles when it comes to this aspect of it. All right, here's what happens, guys. Let's say you have 80 men come to your event. And we usually see 50, 60, 70% sign up. So let's say you have 60 guys sign up. All right. And of those guys that sign up, you're going to have maybe 3 or 4 or 5 that are just, they may be laid off, they may be this, all sorts of things happening in this economy that we have right now. And they may check over here, hey, I want to attend Letters from Dad, but I need a little financial help. All right. And so what we'll do is we'll go through those. All right. And we'll find all those guys that had needed some financial help, and we'll call them. All right, we're not asking you to be, to have to do that sort of thing. We'll do it for you in a very tasteful way, and we'll call them up and say, brother, you indicated you need some financial help. How much were you needing? Well, I can pay half, or I can pay $20, or I can't pay anything at all. And they say, fine, that's great, that's okay. We'll do our best to see that you get the Letters from Dad materials. So we add all that up. And then we'll go over to the other side and go through the sheets and find all the guys that checked that they can help out financially. So we'll call those guys, and we'll say, well, brother, we've found that there's $175 worth of need at the church. You'd indicated on your form that you might be able to help out financially toward that. How much were you willing to put? And I'll say, well, I can put in 25 or 50 or 100 or whatever it might be. And Monty, I've seen thousands and thousands and thousands of these forms come in from churches all across the country, and what it's told me is God's economy is not, is not like our economy.
Oh, absolutely. Amen to that.
If there are 3 or 4 or 5 guys over here that have indicated they need some help, we'll find 5, 6, 7 guys over on the other side that God has laid on their heart that they can help out financially, and it works out. God is amazing. All right, so we don't ever want finances to be an obstacle for guys to sign up for Letters from Dad. It's way too important.
That's exactly
all right,
guys.
Let God work in the hearts of your men, and you'll see amazing things happen. So that's what that is for. Now there's this section right here, the treasure box. All right, the treasure box is not part of the student kit, but if guys are interested in getting it, there is a discount for our Letters from Dad guys when they get it with their student kit. If they just check this, we'll call them up and let them know what it is and ask them what they might want to have engraved on it. Here's another section that's just for you, because one of the things we often hear, Monty, is, I don't know where I'm going to get all my leaders. I don't have enough leaders. I don't know where they're going to come from. Well, once you've had the opportunity to cast the vision and help the guys see the value, you're going to have men stepping up and saying, wow, so this is what this Letters from Dad thing is all about. I want to help.
Yeah.
All right, and
I
that's
can
for
be a-
you.
I can be a
You'll-
table host, yeah.
Right. You'll have guys check this box, and then you'll have some built-in leadership. You can just contact those guys and let them know what to do to prepare, and bring them in and help you out. All right. Now there are several pricing options here from $95 to $79, depending on what you want in your kit. I won't go through and explain them all right now, but there are several options there, from the standard kit that has everything that we talked to you about, down to the essentials kit, which gives you just the essentials, the tools you need to go through the course. All right, several different payment methods: check, credit card, contact you for payment method. And then of course there's some guys that already have the Letters from Dad book because it's sold hundreds of thousands of copies out there. If they already have it, then we want them to check that box, and we will replace it with the Blessing Book by Gary Smalley. And that's a great book, and was very helpful to Greg when he was beginning this journey, this legacy journey of Letters from Dad. So just check that box right there. All right, that's the registration form. It's a 2-part form. All right, and you'll keep the yellow copy, you'll send the white copy to us so we can process it. If you have any questions on it, call us anytime on it. Turn to page 29 in your training manual if you would. And this is your follow-up to your kickoff event. You collect the forms, of course, take the yellow copy for your records, send them to us, FedEx or UPS. Why? Because it has good tracking in it. You're sending financial information, so we want to recommend that you send them in a way that's secure and safe. All right, this is where you send it. All right, and then we're going to process all of those. We don't, we keep it very, very secure here, and we make sure that we shred any financial information that is on the forms when we're done with them. All right, and we'll take care of following up on the financial needs. Now there will be some churches out there, they'll tell us, hey, our men's ministry is going to put, $125 toward the scholarship fund. All right. And so we'll take that into account, and depending on who's needed. But you don't have to worry about lining all that up or calling your guys. You can do that if you want to, but we want you to enjoy this and have fun and not have to be involved in the money changing part of it. We just want you to enjoy it. All right. So you can read the rest of page 29 there. It kind of tells you what we do and how we do it, and we keep things very anonymous, very confidential, so that that no one gets embarrassed and that sort of thing. All right. Now we would like to have 30 days if we can get it. We know that's not always possible between your kickoff and your first session. All right. But if you can give us 3 weeks, that'd be really good. But when it gets down to 2, that's very tight, and we would require that you send those immediately to us next day, FedEx or UPS, so that we can get working on them right away, because it takes time to process all the forms and call the guys that need to be called and ship them back out so that they can get them at least 4 or 5 or 6 days before your first class, so they have an opportunity to look through the material and read the book and all that sort of thing. So give us as much time as you can, if you would, okay? All right, here's a big one, Monty. Tell the guys why this is important.
Well, guys, we want you to collect those forms that night. Don't let them take them home, because here's what happens. You have to chase, trying to get those forms back. And typically what happens is the guys procrastinate, they don't turn them in, or they just decide against it for whatever reason. If they've still got some thinking to do or whatever, have them fill out that form anyway and get back with you within a short time frame to go ahead and confirm, yes, they're going to do it. Maybe they need to go home and, I jokingly talk to the CFO of the family, i.e. the wife, and make sure that they can go ahead and spend those dollars for the student materials. But collect those forms that night. Don't let them take them home. It's too much work, and I think you'll be gravely disappointed.
Right, because guys, they're at the kickoff event, they've heard the story, they understand it, and but when they leave the enthusiasm will wane, they'll forget some of the things that were said, other events and things will come into their life, and tell you the truth, the evil one is just going to take those thoughts away from them, because the last thing that he wants is for the heart of men to be turned toward their family. To their wife and to their children, and that's what Letters from Dad does. So get them to sign up. Don't let them take the forms home with them, because that is a that is again a recipe for failure. So, have them fill them out there, because we found that gives you the most success, and that's when the guys remember most of what went on. All right? All right, we've talked about planning, promoting, we've talked about the kickoff event, and the fun it is, and what the guys get, and all that sort of thing. On our final segment, leadership training part number 4, we're going to talk about the preparation and also get right into the nitty-gritty of how to lead a session. If you have any questions on this segment of the training, or any of the ones before this, contact us at the number below, or email us if you wish, and we'll be glad to answer it for you. We are here to serve. We'll see you next time in part number 4 on how to prepare and lead a Letters from Dad session.
God bless, guys.